بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد أفضل صلاة والتسليم أما بعد. We are gathered today for the defense of the doctoral thesis of Ms. Makhloufat al-Mazahra entitled Development of Screen-Printed Sensor Decorated with Platinum Nickel Microstructures for the detection of zinc 2, ascorbic acid and paracetamol. You have half an hour to 20 minutes to present the main findings of your work. You have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum, and after Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Madam Chair, members of the jury, honored guests, welcome. Today I will present the most important findings of my thesis entitled Development of a Screen-Printed Sensor Decorated with Platinum Nickel Microstructures for the Detection of Zinc, Ascorbic Acid and Paracetamol. This work was carried out at the Laboratory of Industrial Analysis and Materials Engineering under the supervision of Professor Mohamed Yamin Shlermiya and co-supervision of Professor Nasaf Mouna. This presentation will focus on a general introduction to self-medication, a literature review on screen-printed electrodes, the main objective of my research, the experimental methods and techniques used, followed by the presentation and discussion of the results, and finally a general conclusion. Remember life before 2020? Big cities bustling with life, streets were full of people, but by April 2020, after Wuhan declared a new deadly virus and the WHO declared a pandemic, those streets emptied, while hospitals overflowed with COVID-19 patients. This led to a rise in self-medication, with people using unregulated drugs combinations including paracetamol and dietary supplements such as vitamin C and zinc to manage symptoms. Most people also used food already rich in vitamin C and zinc for immune support. However, this unsupervised use of medications may raise the risk of overdose. It is well established that paracetamol, vitamin C and zinc are safe at therapeutic doses. However, excess paracetamol may harm the liver, kidney and pancreatitis. Too much ascorbic acid can cause cramps and diarrhea, and high zinc levels may be linked to issues like Alzheimer's. In extreme cases, overdose may even lead to death. A clear example of overdose danger is the recent paracetamol challenge. It began in August 2023 in the US, where teenagers competed to overdose on paracetamol to see who could stay in the hospital the longest. It quickly spread over social media, especially TikTok. The first media warnings came from Netherlands, followed by Belgium 2 days later. Since then, concern has spread across Europe. Media in Switzerland, France, and Germany have reported warnings from doctors and pharmacists. Slovenia's health ministry also issued a joint statement. Teens, your health is more important than online challenges after an 11-year-old died in the US from this trend. When it comes to Western influence, Algerians often adopt only the negative habits. Unfortunately, this trend reached Algeria, where a middle school student from Lemdia was hospitalized after attempting this challenge. In response, the health ministry issued instruction number 396, urging health directors nationwide to stay alert and to intensify prevention efforts, especially in schools. Algerian TV channels have reported that teenagers are mixing paracetamol with energy drinks already full in vitamins and minerals to seek a drug-like effect at low cost. Sadly, citizens have reported fatal cases in Jijil, Tismsilt and Sidi Bel Abbas due to this trend. Online comments have reflected increased concern about how to detect and control these molecules. In fact, there is a traditional method. Patients are taken to hospital for blood check to check the levels of paracetamol, vitamin C, and zinc. In hospitals, classic methods for detecting target analytes are accurate, but require skilled operators, expensive tools, complex and time-consuming procedures, which make them impractical for routine use. In contrast, electrochemical sensors offer high selectivity, low cost, easy use, and portability. Taking a glucose testing, for example, labs take from 2 to 3 hours, but electrochemical sensors do it in 10 seconds. So it's 720 times faster, portable, easy, and affordable. The past decades have seen enormous progress in electroanalytical chemistry with the development of a vast array of analytes, shifting from bulky setups to portable, fast, and disposable systems. Initially, mercury electrodes have gained much attention due to their precision, earning the 1959 Nobel Prize. Later, safer non-mercury options like bismuth and carbon gained ground due to their better stability and safety. With miniaturization and flexible substrates, traditional electrochemical cells have been replaced with printed sensors. Since the 90s, methods like pad printing, roll-to-roll, and especially screen printing advanced the field. Screen printing outstands as a method for mass-producing, low-cost, and reliable sensors, crucial in bridging lab research and real-world use. This technology enables the mass production of reproducible electrodes with counter-working and reference electrode printed in a single substrate. In screen printing, ink is pushed through a stencil on a woven mesh to form electrode layers, each solidified by thermal treatment. A final protective layer insulates conductive tracks. Many labs now print their own screen-printed electrodes, while commercial versions are available from companies like Metrohome, DropSense, PinE Research, Microx, EDAC, and Kanishi Research Limited used in this study. Screen-printed electrodes can be easily modified with materials like polymers, metallic nanoparticles, carbon nanotubes, and graphene. Metallic nanoparticles are especially useful in improving electroanalytical performance and are widely used in biosensors for their unique properties. That's why they were chosen for this study. The modification of screen-printed electrodes with metallic nanoparticles is done via drop casting, electrodeposition, or ink mixing. We selected electrodeposition, the most common method, because it offers precise control over nanoparticle morphology. Platinum nanoparticles are widely used as electrode modifiers for their strong electrocatalytic and electronic properties, but they suffer from surface poisoning by adsorbed residues. This issue can be solved by forming bimetallic materials. Combining platinum with another metal enhances both synergetic and electronic properties. In this process, the second metal helps removing blocking residues from platinum active sites. Nickel is a popular choice due to its stability, low cost, and eco-friendliness. In result, platinum-nickel systems are commonly used across various applications. Metallic nanoparticles are widely used for the modification of screen-printed electrodes, but not for our target analytes. When they were, detection was individual, not combined. This takes us to the first novelty of our work, the development of an electrochemical sensor that can simultaneously detect zinc, an inorganic metal, along with two organic molecules, ascorbic acid and paracetamol, in a single analytical run. While the modification of screen-printed electrode with bimetallic materials is common, the use of platinum and nickel together is rare, especially for our target analytes. Most studies focus on using platinum or nickel individually. and even PTME systems found in literature are not for our target analytes, nor do they use screen-printed electrodes. This takes us to the second novelty of our work, which is the first ever made screen-printed electrode modified with platinum and nickel nanoparticles for the simultaneous detection of zinc, ascorbic acid, and paracetamol. This work had two parts, part A and part B, both using screen-printed electrodes with the same reference and counter electrode. The only difference is part A used a graphite working electrode, part B a graphene one. Both were modified with platinum-nickel nanoparticles via electrodeposition. After characterization with the different techniques, in part A, simultaneous detection of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol was achieved using cyclic and differential pulse voltammetry. 4-aminophenol is a toxic paracetamol byproduct that is known for its nephrotoxic and teratogenic effects. Then, simultaneous detection of zinc, ascorbic acid, and paracetamol was achieved using square wave voltammetry. The sensor was validated on human blood and pharmaceutical samples. In part B, simultaneous detection, individual and simultaneous detection of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol, ascorbic acid was done via cyclic voltammetry and square wave voltammetry. Two setups were used. Setup 1 for kinetic and electrochemical behaviors using CV and impedance with a potential state controlled by Versa Studio. The second setup for sensitive tests using square wave and DPV measurements using another potential state run by PowerSuite. To physically characterize the modified electrodes, we used the field emission scanning electron microscope coupled to energy dispersive X-ray spectroscopy, transmission electron microscopy, atomic force microscopy, and X-ray diffractometry. All analyses were done during my internship at the Group of Analysis and Processes in France. Starting with part A, which focused on the development of a novel electrochemical sensor based on platinum-nickel nanostructure screen-printed graphite electrode for the simultaneous detection of paracetamol with 4-aminophenol as well as with zinc and ascorbic acid in real samples. Some images showed that the screen-printed electrode surface became more homogeneous after incorporating uniform, well-dispersed platinum and nickel spherical particles. High magnification SEM revealed the numerous platinum particles and fewer smaller nickel particles uniformly distributed across the substrate, which is confirmed also by TEM. The UTX analysis showed a higher platinum content as optimal electrocatalytic activity is achieved when nickel is account for about 5% of the modified electrode. Additionally, XRD analysis confirmed the presence of graphite, nickel, and platinum crystal structures with distinct diffraction. Moreover, atomic force microscopy images showed that the unmodified screen-printed electrode had a rough surface, while the platinum-nickel modified screen-printed electrode appeared smoother and more uniform, indicating even particle distribution. To study the electrochemical behavior of the electrodes, CV was performed using the FECNC's redox probe. The peak separations were showing improved electron transfer with the modifications. Nicholson's method was used to calculate the electron transfer rate. The results showed that the electron transfer rate increased by 2.2 times using PT and 2.5 times with platinum nickel. The trend in redox current confirms the enhanced electrocatalytic activity of the modified electrodes. The electrochemical impedance spectra of unmodified PT and PTME modified SPE shows a semicircle at higher frequencies representing charge transfer resistance and a straight line at low frequencies indicating diffusion control. The fitted resistance values were calculated The lowest resistance in platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode confirms improved conductivity. These results align with CV and structural analysis, confirming successful electrode modification. The electrochemical behavior of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol was studied. On the bare screen-printed electrode, weak and broad redox peaks were observed. In contrast, the platinum screen-printed electrode showed about a twofold increase in peak currents due to the electrocatalytic activity of platinum. Co-depositing platinum with nickel increased the oxidation peak current for both analytes. This improvement is due to the nickel's excellent electron transfer properties, which enhance the conductivity of platinum and the overall sensor. CV was also used to study 4-aminophenol and paracetamol detection using the chosen platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode. In blank phosphate buffer solution, no redox peaks appeared. With 4-aminophenol and paracetamol, distinct redox peaks corresponding to each analyte were observed, confirming the electrode's ability to detect them individually. In the mixed solution, the square wave DCV showed 4 well-separated redox peaks. This clear separation confirms the PTNE's SPU electrode's ability to simultaneously and selectively detect both analytes. CV was also used to study how pH ranging from 6 to 9 affects the redox response of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol. Oxidation peak currents increased with pH up to 7.4. Then decreased beyond that. Thus, pH 7.4 was chosen for further tests. Also, a linear negative shift in oxidation potentials with increasing pH was observed, indicating proton involvement in the redox reactions. The slopes of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol are close to the theoretical value, suggesting equal numbers of protons and electrons are involved. CV was performed for 4-aminophenol and paracetamol at various scan rates. As can be seen, peak currents are increasing with scan rate. Also, a linear relationship between scan rate and the square root of between peak currents and the square root of scan rate was observed, indicating that the redox process are diffusion controlled at the platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode surface. A linear relationship between peak potentials and the natural logarithm of scan rate was observed. Using Lagrange's theory, the electron transfer number and transfer coefficient were calculated for both analytes. This suggests a 2 electron, 2 protons redox mechanism at the platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode surface. The concentration effect of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol was firstly examined using CV. A clear separation between their oxidation peaks was observed, with peak currents increasing proportionally to concentration. The detection limits were calculated with a value of 1.42 micromolar and 1.47 micromolar for 4-aminophenol and paracetamol respectively, confirming the platinum-nickel screen-printed sensor's high sensitivity for simultaneous detection. Our platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode outperforms previous reports with wider linear range, high sensitivity and low limit of detections, making it a strong candidate for detecting paracetamol and 4-aminophenol. DPV was used to evaluate the sensor's ability to detect 4-aminophenol and paracetamol individually and simultaneously. For individual detection, the limit of detections were 0.95 and 0.25 micromolar for both analytes. The simultaneous detection showed low limit of detections and good sensitivities, demonstrating that the platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode enables sensitive, selective detection of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol, both individually and simultaneously. The simultaneous electrochemical detection of ascorbic acid and paracetamol showed strong linearity with concentration, with the limit of detections were 7 and 0.66 for ascorbic acid and paracetamol respectively. For the triple simultaneous detection, the limit of detections were 0.049 and 0.15 for zinc, ascorbic acid and paracetamol respectively. Overall, the platinum-nickel screen-printed electrode sensor offers effective multi-analyte detection in a single analytical run. In comparison with previous report, it showed best results. Reproducibility, repeatability, and stability tests were conducted to evaluate the performance of the proposed detection electrode. For reproducibility, 5 separately prepared electrodes showed consistent responses with low relative standard deviation. Repeatability tests on one electrode for 5 successive measurements showed consistent results. After 8 weeks at room temperature, current responses dropped by less than 3%, indicating good long-term stability. Selectivity studies using common interference species found in food, beverages, or pharmaceutical products showed minimal signal variation, indicating strong selectivity for zinc, ascorbic acid, and paracetamol. To validate the practical utility of the fabricated sensor, the concentrations of various analytes in real pharmaceutical tablets were determined. The results were in quiet agreement with the specified target content given by the manufacturer, with LCDs below 2.8%, demonstrating the sensor's accuracy and suitability for real samples analysis. Furthermore, real tests in spiked human serum showed LCDs below 4%, confirming that the platinum-nickel screen-printed sensor is effective for detecting zinc, ascorbic acid, and paracetamol in real biological samples. As a conclusion for Part A, this work presents the first sensor developed for the simultaneous detection of paracetamol for aminophenol, ascorbic acid, and zinc in pharmaceutical and biological samples. In summary, the platinum-nickel screen-printed sensor was successfully developed and characterized using techniques like SEM, TEM, ETX, XRD, and atomic force microscopy, confirming uniform platinum-nickel nanodeposits. Electrochemical studies demonstrated enhanced conductivity and a large active surface area. The sensor enabled sensitive and simultaneous detection of paracetamol for aminophenol, ascorbic acid, and zinc, with well-separated peaks and minimal interference. Its strong performance in real samples highlights its suitability for pharmaceutical and biomedical applications. Moving on to Part B, which focuses on the development of an innovative electrochemical sensor using platinum-nickel nanostructured screen-printed graphene electrode for the simultaneous and individual electrochemical detection of 4-aminophenol, paracetamol, and ascorbic acid. The structural and morphological characterization confirmed the successful modification of the graphene screen-printed sensor with platinum, averaging 155 nanometer, with an atomic ratio of 98.29%, and nickel averaging 51.6 nanometer, with an atomic ratio of 1.72%. The individual electrochemical detection of ascorbic acid for aminophenol and paracetamol was investigated on the graphene screen-printed electrode, modified with platinum-nickel nanoparticles, of course. The ascorbic acid showed an irreversible electrochemical behavior with a limit of detection of 9.84 micromolar, while 4-aminophenol and paracetamol exhibited quasi-reversible responses with 2.36 and 2 micromolar limit of detections for aminophenol and paracetamol respectively. The simultaneous electrochemical detection of ascorbic acid and paracetamol showed that both analytes have good sensitivity and low detection limits. The platinum-nickel graphene screen-printed electrode was tested for simultaneous detection of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol using CV, linear calibration plots with two distinct linear ranges for each analyte were observed, with good sensitivity and low detection limits. The sensor showed similar performance in both individual and simultaneous detections. Square wave voltammetry also was used for simultaneous detection of 4-aminophenol and paracetamol. Strong linearity was observed for both, with 2.3 limit of detection for paracetamol and 2.6 micromolar limit of detection for paracetamol. The platinum-nickel screen-printed graphene electrode offers high sensitivity for both individual and simultaneous detection. Compared to previously reported electrodes, the platinum-nickel modified graphene screen-printed electrode offers a wider linear range, lower limit of detections, and higher sensitivity for 4-aminophenol, ascorbic acid, and paracetamol, both individually and simultaneously. A small comparison between graphite and graphene performance showed that, for example, for a concentration of 200 micromolar for aminophenol, the graphene-modified sensor exhibits a current approximately 1.6 higher than that of the graphite-based sensor, improving significantly enhanced catalytic activity of graphene. In this work, novel electrochemical sensors were developed for the individual and simultaneous detection of paracetamol, its toxic impurity for aminophenol, ascorbic acid, and zinc using platinum-nickel modified screen-printed electrodes. The first sensor, based on a graphite electrode, was fully characterized using SEM, TEM, EDX, XRD, AFM, CV, and impedance. Characterization confirmed uniform platinum-nickel nanodeposits, improved surface area, faster electron transfer, and reduced charge transfer resistance. The sensor enabled sensitive and selective detection of paracetamol and 4-aminophenol, as well as the simultaneous detection of paracetamol, ascorbic acid, and zinc. It demonstrated excellent analytical performance, high sensitivity, wide linear range, low detection limits, with strong stability, reproducibility, and minimal interference. Application to pharmaceutical samples and human blood yield satisfactory recovery. A second sensor based on a graphene electrode was also developed and characterized. It allowed for individual and simultaneous detection of 4-aminophenol, ascorbic acid, and paracetamol, benefiting from graphene's enhanced surface properties and nanoparticle dispersion. This work highlights the potential of platinum-nickel-based sensors in pharmaceutical analysis and biomedical diagnostics. The results obtained have opened several promising avenues for future research in this field, conduct a more in-depth study of the properties of graphene, and develop new hybrid sensors based on graphene modified with inorganic nanoparticles and biofilms, explore and develop novel deposition methods for electrodes, develop maybe wearable smart sensors similar to watches that make it easy for anyone to simultaneously detect multiple pharmaceutical products with the aim of addressing issues related to self-medication and drug interactions. My 4-year PhD journey have resulted in 2 publications and several presentations in both national and international conferences. Thank you for your attention.